Alright, so today we watched the 1988 subjective classic, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I got the first pressing, and while they didn't have a limited edition version of this, the first pressing of the special edition is a little bit different. I'll talk about that at the end when I talk about special features. But Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, touchstone picture for me. I've enjoyed this ever since I was a kid. I had it on VHS, I have it on DVD. So it's actually the only movie that I can think of that I'm aware of that was actually stolen from me. My VHS, as a kid, one of my friends seemed to have nicked it, and I'm guessing they thought it was of a more adult nature than it actually was. So it brings me a little bit of joy knowing that they got this goofball 80s comedy instead of probably the more grimy film that they were desiring to steal. But anyway, after that, I got this drugstore version here, which I'm pretty sure is a bootleg. Top 10 Media, whenever you search this company, comes up as bootleg, so pretty sure that's a bootleg. Legit now, with the Arrow release, this thing looks amazing. The colors, they just pop. I mean, I'm needing to upgrade the bootleg anyway because it's starting to have some disc rot, but I'm going to put up some side-by-side of the two films, and it's drenched in colors, looks amazing. And if there's two things you want to see really well in an Elvira movie, it's colors and plot. Anyway, Iris, what did you think about Elvira, Mistress of the Dark? Not your first time watching this movie. What's your opinion?
If I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you.
It's good.
It's good?
I remember you watching a lot of those commentaries of her talking about movies.
Yeah.
In the past. That's what you more do.
So Elvira, that's her thing, is she had a TV show that was very popular in the 80s, where she talked about, she had bad movies on, and she would kind of make fun of them. That's what she did in the movie. Remember, she got them in the theater, and she showed that bad movie, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and she made fun of it.
I have two parts where she makes weird stuff. One part where she made that stuff that that come out and try to attack her.
So, was...
And also I have another part, and then she made a thing that made the people that were in that picnic thing like that stuff so much.
Yeah.
Whatever that stuff was. Those two parts were my favorite.
Those two parts were your favorite parts of the movie?
Actually, two of my favorite parts, because I have more favorite parts of the movie.
And of course we have an animal companion in this movie as well, Algonquin, or Gonk for short. What did you think about our little dog, Gonk?
He was cool.
He was cool?
And also weird.
And weird.
Because of the style of that dog.
Yeah. So this isn't like a real movie. This is a parody of a movie. It's essentially Elvira's character from Movie Macabre going to the town from Footloose and getting into shenanigans. Lots of jokes that play to the parents in the audience, and, you know, stuff for the kids too, really. Iris, do you think kids would like this movie?
I think girls.
You think girls would like this movie?
I think this is the first time I just said only girls.
Only girls? You kind of see Elvira as like a fashion icon, maybe?
I think kids will like the part where it's like...
Where Gonk turns into the rat?
No. Where she does this with her bra. Whatever bra.
She does the spinning tassels. Yes. Very important life skill there.
That's more like a bra, like a show bra without any kind of clothes like I'm wearing.
So, movie for girls, this movie.
Yeah.
I think that this movie plays to boys too in a different way, but what do you think about Elvira's makeup, like her style? It's pretty?
I like the style.
I might have normalized it a little bit for you because, you know, Elvira, there's lots of Elvira stuff in this house. Not lots of it. I'm not a weirdo.
Even this Elvira pillow.
You are on an Elvira pillow. The whole time we've been filming all of these, she's just a little too short, so I've got a pillow on this chair for her to sit on. It is an Elvira pillow. So for whatever reason, Elvira was big impact on my childhood. It was her and Ernest were my two people that I enjoyed watching. Ernest P. Worrell. You know Ernest. You saw him go to camp. You saw him get scared stupid.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you know Ernest.
I'm pretty sure I have to see them again.
Don't worry. We can watch all of the Ernest movies again.
Do you remember
Maybe we'll
when,
skip Army, though. And, what's the other one? The other... Africa? Although the desert sun certainly has a diverse effect on chocolate milk. Anyway, back to Elvira.
Whoa. Must have took too much antacid in the 60s.
One of the things I really appreciated this time around was the quality of the Blu-ray. You could actually see the stuff in the house. Really interesting to look at. Lots of fun detail there.
Why did most of the stuff hide it in?
So they put the sheets over top of stuff so the dust wouldn't, settle in and kind of ruin it. Just to keep dust off of it. Also, the house that they used for this movie, very famous studio backlot house.
Hey, this place ain't half bad. Bet you could get a bundle for it.
Yes, you could. But your house is over there.
In tons of movies, the whole movie's shot on the backlot. You can really tell, especially if you've ever done the studio tour, which maybe don't do the studio tour because it kind of ruins a lot of movies for you. You will see the backlot everywhere once you've done the studio tour. In one way, it's fun to look at because then you can see how things are made, but another way, it breaks your suspension of disbelief just a little bit. What did you think about baby Elvira?
She was so weird.
Yeah?
Weirder than she was when she was an adult. She didn't look weird. But only when she was a baby. And babies don't wear makeup.
I know, that was the whole joke. I always liked Elvira's makeup. It just kind of draws you into her eyes. And there's something just so friendly and fun about looking into her eyes. I'm being serious, not other stuff. But, her face. It's just a friendly face that you just like. You just like Elvira. I can't imagine somebody watching this and being like, I hate that girl right there. Being annoyed by her, maybe, but she's just so likable. And that's probably why she's had such success over the years. Obviously, I've watched In Search of Darkness, of course, the Elvira version. That was great. Why are you patting my arm? What would you like to talk about? Huh? She's kind of known for her cheesy, corny jokes, Elvira. They're not everybody's cup of tea. But, that's her. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Do you have anything else you want to talk about for this movie? No?
This is a pretty short review.
Well, that's because I'm going to talk about special features in just a second.
What are you whining about? I'm the one getting barbecued. Oh, sorry.
Alright, we're back for special features. So starting with the obvious, big step up in image quality between these two. Starting from the outside in, the first pressing or Limited Edition Lite version has a very nice slipcover, some nice newly commissioned art here. One thing that I'm not a fan of Arrow that does this is they don't do both sides. They have this cutout on this side, I believe. In England, there is a security device that can go in here in the stores. But, I almost feel like the majority of people who buy movies now buy it online. Do you really buy that much in the stores? And if you are buying it in the stores, they have their own little acrylic, coffin cases. Like this, that they could have used to secure the DVD without, having to have this little extra cutout and no text on this side. One of the things I like about slipcovers is it makes the DVD Blu-ray a little more like a VHS tape in that you can go either way. Sometimes this side gets damaged. Unfortunately, that does happen. You just flip it around when you got a slipcover, but not if you have an Arrow slipcover. Quality of the slipcover is very nice. It has a textured 90s electronics feel to it. It's very sturdy cardstock. It's not holographic or anything, but there's something about it, maybe slightly iridescent glow here in the picture. The other thing you're getting with this limited edition Lite is this special booklet that has, scenes from the movie and short essays from a couple key people to the production. It's nice to have, but these are the only two things extra you might get with the first pressing of the limited edition Lite. Not quite enough, really, to sell it to most people. If this wasn't such a touchstone picture for me, I probably would have waited a couple years and bought it at the more $10 sale arrow price. Obviously, they have a reversible cover. I've already reversed it here to the more traditional Elvira picture. That, of course, is a nice touch when you take the slipcover off to get the original picture there. I do really like that they've got her eyes on the disc there. That's nice. Not sure why there's a Creepshow 2 thing in here, but my Creepshow 2 Blu-ray didn't come with an insert, so I guess I'll take this out of here and put it into there. So before I talk about special features, let me talk a little bit about the history of this release. So, as you may or may not be aware, a few years ago, there was a standard bare bones release of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark on Blu-ray. You can pick that up. It's a relatively cheap buy. But a little more recently, there was this newcomer to the boutique Blu-ray scene called Cinespectral, and they were a German company, which normally I don't really look at European discs all that much, but, they were going to release Elvira, Mistress of the Dark on Blu-ray in the 3D Digipack set. There wasn't going to be German on it. It was just going to be all in English, and it was loaded with special features that they had curated. There was 3 unique covers. There was this brand new art they commissioned, which I like the arrow art a little bit better, but it had its charms as well. And there's a couple varying stories to what actually went down, but they went out of business. They refunded everybody's money, and it was dead. The Elvira project was dead. And a lot of people were bemoaning this because an amazing set of special features. But a few years later, all those special features made it out to a couple other distributors. There was a German company that released everything on another release, and of course there was Arrow, which released most of everything on this release right here. First, of course, in the UK, and now to us here in America. So, let me talk about their special features, and I'll talk a little bit about what was left off that could have been from that Cinespectral films. So we get to the main special feature, my favorite, which is the audio commentary. You get 3 on here, and I gotta say, having 3 audio commentaries kind of separates the disc out as being a little bit of a special treat in my book. I just love watching the movie, hearing different stories. You get a lot from the commentary than you would get from most retrospectives. The kind of spur of the moment, unedited remembrances, and they can be really fun to listen to. Now, the best feature on the disc is the archival commentary from 2012. It's got Cassandra Peterson and a producer and the villain from the movie. This particular commentary was only ever available on an Australian release, an Australian DVD, for some crazy reason, so nice to finally have it. It's a great commentary. I would have bought this release alone if it was nothing but having that commentary. Loved it. The second commentary up is with the director and the moderator from Fangoria. A little bit less of a treat there. The director kind of falls into that pattern of just watching the movie, having short answers from time to time, not being terribly interesting. He does reveal a few bits of info, but it's just not that great of a watch. I would say actually the moderator from Fangoria with his little informational tidbits is actually even a little better in the commentary than the director. And, asking the good questions there, like, hey, is she actually naked in that bathtub? And the third commentary is from a super fan moderator of Elvira, MistressOfTheDark.com, and host to, the next Elvira. He does an almost good commentary. There's a little bit too much retread and a little bit too much downtime, but he's almost there. It's almost a historian track. If he hadn't have brought in so much stuff from the other commentaries and behind the scenes, I think it really could have been an amazing track. I loved all the little things he's pointing out throughout the movie, like the French tip nails on the Amish girl. I never would have seen that. And, I genuinely enjoyed the track. I found it about average because, again, a lot of retread, too much downtime, but it was close. The next main special feature is kind of a twofold thing. One is a feature-length retrospective about the making of the movie called Too Macabre. It has pretty much all the main cast members talking about the movie. Really fun to listen to. Again, a lot of retread from the commentary tracks, but a lot of new stuff in there as well. This version is from the original German Blu-ray that I talked about. It's been edited recently to kind of shift some of the content from this to the other featurette, which is the Monster in the Table featurette. Tells kind of how they made it and a little bit about some of the other special effects in the movie. And aside from that, you get your kind of standard things like trailers and still galleries. Now, a note on the still galleries, I did watch all of them, and there's some interesting pictures in there, but the way they went about authoring them was pretty bad. There's no background music, and each picture stays up for about 10 seconds. You cannot fast forward. You can not skip. You have to wait there the entire time through the whole thing. So, 14 minutes at 10 seconds a picture, a little too much. I would have liked to turn that up to at least 2 speed, maybe even 3 speed, and I would have enjoyed it just as much, if not more, or throwing some music on the background. Even something cheap and royalty-free, like what's playing right now, would have really kind of elevated the material.
How's your head?
I haven't had any complaints yet.
So, of course, as I mentioned, that original German release was 3 disc, and here's what they dropped from that to get down to the 1 disc Arrow version. So they dropped the DVD version of the film, which, who cares about that, unless you're going to put maybe the open matte presentation of the film on that, but nobody ever does. Otherwise, they dropped some slideshows with some press kit info and some script stuff. I could live without that. And then they dropped about 5 or 6 featurettes, featuring less than 15 minutes, over stuff like pre-production, the Macabre Mobile, several on the pinball machine. The pinball machine ones probably would have been the ones I would have been most interested in, but seeing as how it's only 15 minutes that are cut, I'm okay with it. I can live with not having to get the crazy expensive German version and going with my medium expensive Arrow release. So would I recommend the Arrow Special Edition of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark? Absolutely. If you're an Elvira fan, and if you're watching this, you probably are, you're going to have a lot of fun with this. And if you didn't have that Australian DVD, which you probably didn't, you're going to really enjoy her audio commentary to the movie. Whether or not it's worth it to you to buy the first pressing, pay a little more to get this, it's up to you. But I think most people are probably going to buy this on sale. They're going to get the naked disc here, and they're going to have a really good time with this. I think everyone's going to be satisfied with their copy of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I think that pretty much wraps it up. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.